Testing, testing. We are live. We are live. Oi. Let's just see if everything is working out correctly. Which it is. All right, cool. How's everyone's Tuesday doing? Today we are going to be learning style components, and the motivation behind style components for me personally, I've been using CSS and Sass for most of my learning, and even in my previous job I've been mostly in the Sass area, but it's lately there's just been a focus in moving towards CSS and JS, and specifically style components is somewhat heavily used in the what's the point of these earbuds? There's no point. Yeah, generally the CSS and JS seems to be taking over, so I've just been wanting to learn it, and I think this would just be a good resource to learn. If you guys have a hard time seeing the text, please let me know. Actually, I'm going to open up my own YouTube just to make sure that it's not too hard to see. Let's see. It could be a little bit bigger, but I think it should be fine. So let's see what we can do from here. All right, so let's get us started. I think I have one viewer, and I think that one viewer is me. So I might be talking to myself for a while. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to get myself started. All right, so let's just start from the documentation and the basics. Let's see. Style components is the result of wondering how we can enhance CSS for styling React component systems. By focusing on a single use case, we managed to optimize the experience for developers as well as the output for the end users. Apart from the improved experience for developers, style components provides automatic critical CSS. Style components keep track of which components are rendered on a page and inject their styles and nothing else. Fully automatically. Wow, I must be having a long day. Combined with code splitting, that means your users load the least amount of code necessary. Nice. No class names, no class name bugs. Style components generates unique class names for your styles, so you never have to worry about duplication. Hey, what up, Jordan? How's your Tuesday going? Hey, I've seen your YouTube channel growing. Mad props to you, sir. And for the sake of this, let's just make this like that, since we're just reading the documentation anyway. Let's see. No class name bugs. Style components generate unique class names for your styles. You never have to worry about duplication, overlaps, or misspellings. Easier deletion of. It can be hard to know whether a class name is used somewhere in your code base. Yes, that is a big problem. Style components make it obvious as every bit of styling is tied to a specific component. If the component is unused, which tooling can detect, and gets deleted, all the styles will get deleted with it. Yep. Simple dynamic styling, adapting the style of a component based on its props or global theme is simple and intuitive without having to manually manage dozens of classes. Interesting. Okay. Painless maintenance. You never have to hunt across different files to find the styling affecting your components, so maintenance is a piece of cake no matter how big. Cool. And then automatic vendor prefixing. Write your CSS to the current standards and let style components handle the rest. You get all the benefits while still writing CSS. Cool. All right, so installation I'm not going to do because I have the code sandbox to my left, which will make my life a lot easier for this demo. And hey, Donovan, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Happy Tuesday. I'm very tired, and I have one more class before it's time. Hey, what time zone are you in? I'm just out of curiosity. It's about 7 o'clock here. You sleep pretty early. And thanks. Yeah, of course. You know, I'm not. Maybe we could do a interview for my sharing developer stories. I've been meaning to get a lot of people on, but work's been kind of fun and kind of busy at the same time. Cool. I'm going to skip over the installation part because I already have this. Actually, no, I do need to install it. So what I'm going to do is I already have a sandbox open. So I'm just going to do components. Let's just make sure I have that in here. Style components. Why is it style components? Pretty sure it's styled. Might have messed that one up. There it is. What is this? I don't need this. Cool. And then I'm just going to do the examples on the documentation just because what better source of truth is there than to read the documentation, right? So instead of just like copying and pasting, what I'm going to do is actually just kind of literally write out the code so I have an idea of what the heck is going on. So the first thing I'm going to do here, apparently, I think we have to import styled from style components. Cool. And then, so it looks like there's a wrapper and a title. So here, let's say it removes the mapping between components and styles. That means when you are defining your styles, you're actually creating a normal React component. This has your style attached to it. This example creates two simple components, a wrapper and a title. Interesting. So here, and let me know if you guys can see it okay, because I'm just, I think it looks fine on the YouTube channel, but I don't really know. So it looks like we create a title, style.h1. And here we can say font size 1.5 Yep, that makes sense. Text align, center, and color. What the heck kind of color is that? All right, whatever. Palette violet red. And then here, let's just delete this stuff. Actually, we don't even need this either. Just do. All right, cool. Here, let's just do a title. And then we can write hello world. Cool. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this. Like making everything into a component, because it's just so it's so interesting. Like I'd rather just do something along the lines of doing an H1 here, writing hello world, and then kind of implementing the same styles this way. I've been familiar with other CSS and JS frameworks like Emotion, where you kind of could just do this and then do the same styles here. It's like, say you actually make a bunch of components. How are you supposed to differentiate between style component and a non-style component? Ugh. Not a huge fan, but it is what it is. Let's keep going. All right, so a wrapper. Yep, it's supposed to be a section. All right, I see you. And then here, maybe just add some padding. Yep, and background of papaya whip. All right, whatever. Let's keep it going. And then here, let's just use that wrapper to wrapper here. Boom. Awesome. So it looks like if you actually, let's look at this in the full screen. When you inspect this element, nothing happens. Let's see. All right. Cool. So what's cool about CSS and JS is it's hashing out your class names. And if you look at it right here, let's make this a little bit bigger. You'll see that one thing nice about this is that it's always going to be unique. So you won't ever have that clashing style that they were mentioning. And then you see how we define the section here, and it's called a section as our wrapper. And then the title is now in H1. But look at what happens when I do H2. It's now an H2 element. regardless of what characteristics we give it, it basically takes an element that you can style. And here, let's even say this is a div. Now it's a div, and this is the div, this is the h3. So basically, it looks like essentially, if you're familiar with CSS, it's saying like maybe this, we'll maybe call it like, I don't really have my CSS file, but this is basically the equivalent. Let's just change this back to H1 section, like that. And what we can do is we can just create a new file called app.css. I'll just show you what the equivalent of that is. So we'll just say import app.css. And here, let's just say, this just so it's a little bit easier. And then we'll just say h1, h1. This is styled component. And then here we'll say h1. This is using normal CSS. And we need to have this one up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me. All right, anyways. So let's, from here, we're gonna say, we'll call our wrapper section. What should I? And all right, wait up, one second. All right, my new favorite. Hey man, thank you. Codingphase is here. Yeah. Yo, give me a name suggestion. I'm not as good of a clickbaiter as you. Hey, good video, by the way. I know not many people are gonna watch that one about the taxes, but I actually really like it a lot. But apparently, New York doesn't have taxes on digital products, so I think I'm safe. All right, so this is the equivalent of doing that, and then what's our section in H1? And just say hello world. So this is normal CSS, but we haven't actually implemented anything here. So, and I bet you that if we Codingphase will love this because he's a big BEM guy. So we say we name this class name equals app. Then we could say class name equals app header. And maybe, oh, actually, no, wrong one. Here, we'll call this app header. And then class name equals app section. All right. Software engineer learns style components. All right, let's change that right now. This will get me 5 new viewers right now. Software engineer learns styled components. An error occurred. What? No way. Did it change? Yeah, cool. Boom, done. If Codingphase says do it, then I'll do it. All right, so here, like this is just normal CSS. Now we're gonna just say here, let's just take whatever that style is. So I'm gonna take a picture of this. All right, so I could say app. No. What did I call it? App section and header. App section, I could say padding 4M. Background, papaya whip. And then app header. Font size 1.5M. Text align center. Color palette violet red. Okay, cool. So now you can see the difference between using style components and regular CSS. And if you inspect the element here, show up, please. Okay, cool. You'll see that the defined class names are right here, and it's very clear. It's called app underscore underscore section, and then the other one is called app underscore underscore header. That's really nice. And it's very back in the day when there wasn't CSS and JS, like this was the way to do it. And you know what? It still works. The only problem here is that if you have some like really, really deeply nested app, and then all of a sudden I'm just calling this one like a div, and I just say, hey, and I just give it a same name of app underscore underscore header. There's nothing stopping this div from taking the same styles. So one thing good and unique about this is that the title component will always be having this specific kind of style versus the potential of having the same class name clash with another like area of your application. So you can see the appeal of why style components or like even anything in CSS JS is going well. All right, let's see. Or software engineer live. Okay, maybe I should put the live in front. Let's see how what did it actually change? Let's see. Live software engineer learns styled components. And then maybe I'll put a exclamation mark. And how can I be paying money for StreamYards and it's giving me errors? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. We're not more viewers are always nice though, but can't expect the world on a Tuesday. So you can already see why it's kind of cleaner, and I get it, but I am mixed feelings because it's something that I have to adjust to in this new day and age. So let's just get rid of that. We don't really need that anymore. And then we'll just delete this file because it's kind of useless. All right. All right, cool. So let's see. It's always vendor prefix, which is super nice. That way you don't have to worry about anything. And yeah, looks like it's good. Now let's move on to the next one. Go to the YouTube stream viewer. Ah, okay. These are live pro hacks right here. All right. One second, people. All right. So what are we changing it to? Software engineer learn style components or software engineer live. All right. So I'm going to do the live first and then do software engineer learn style components. So software engineer learns styled components. Save. Did that work? Yeah, that works too. Yo, what up? What up? All right. Here are these pro tips from Codingphase. All right. Thank you, sir. Yo, I got six people watching. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's go. Let's go. I wish there was a way you could put music, but apparently you can only do it with screen sharing on StreamYards. And if you're already sharing a screen, you can't actually share two screens that way, but it is what it is. All right, let's move on to the next one. You could pass a function interpolation to a style component, literal to adapt to its props. This button has a primary state that changes its color when setting the primary prop to true. We are swapping out its background text and color. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward enough. How does it have access to props here? I guess it just knows that it has a prop here. That's interesting. All right, cool. Let's see. All right. So we're gonna make a button component. I'm just gonna here. And let's make this full screen again. All right. So that way we could kind of zoom this a little bit bigger. Easier for y'all to see. All right, so it looks like the difference between the two buttons are that one is just a normal button and one with primary has a unique color. So let us do style.button because its button is the element tag here. And then background. Ooh, interesting. So you could actually just do interpolation this way. So you could pass in props. I assume props is the props that you can pass into the component directly here. So you do props.primary, and we'll make it palette, violet, red. I don't know where they came up with these colors. Palette, violet, red. Otherwise, it's white. All right, cool. Hey, you weren't wrong here. The keyword is what is getting me more viewers. No, I don't mind. I don't mind. That's never an issue. Am I from Connecticut? No. I'll never live there. Only weird people live in Connecticut. No, I'm kidding. I'm just giving Codingphase a hard time because he used to live in Connecticut. All right. So definitely we could pass in the props that way, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and you know what? Backseat coding, that's interesting. I think it depends, right? Like if I'm trying to study for an interview or doing these like leak code questions where I really need to think on my own and figure it out, I would have a hard time with the backseat coding. But if I'm just following a tutorial, I don't know. It's kind of mindless for me, to be honest. It's a very easy way to learn. I'm not like struggling too much from it. So yeah. But Cesar, why do you ask? Are you from Connecticut, or are you asking because I made that one Connecticut video? Connecticut is actually really was. Or where did I go? New Haven? Did I go to New Haven? Yeah, I think I went to New Haven. That was pretty fun. There was a lot of like wherever Yale is. Yeah, that's where I went. So it looks like I can't spell primary correctly. So props.primary. And then what is going on here? Do I need to put a curly brace? Okay, cool. And then let's see. All right, color. I'm just not even gonna look at the thing. So I'm just gonna pass in props, and I assume it's the same thing here. Props.primary. And here, and then it's white. Otherwise, palette, violet, red. I had viewers backseat code in my last video and I look at it as them helping understand what I was doing. Yeah, I think it's a give and take because weirdly enough, when you're in a coding interview, you're not going to have those people next to you. So you have to really focus and think on your own and figure out how you can solve the problem. But if it's a matter of just like working on a project or things like that, then it's not the end of the world if you do it. That's just my 2 cents, but do just gonna comment this out. So is this one complaining? Oh, cool. So I'm not using Streamlabs. I'm using StreamYard. I am definitely going to learn Streamlabs this weekend, and hopefully I could get some cool effects because I think StreamYard is good if I ever want to have guests on, and I know Codingphase uses it because he has a lot of guests on, and he's able to just like show these kind of questions like this. But hey, give me some time, man. Give me some time. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. That's awesome. Are you a software engineer, Cesar, or that's working in Connecticut? Let me know. All right, so button, we got that down. I guess we could just copy these styles now. I mean, this stuff is not as important, like adding the other fluff. I think the main point of that part of the tutorial was that you can actually pass in props and then do conditionals that way. So here, adding 0.25M, 1M, and it's not that. I'm not gonna care about this. This is not that important. All right, cool. So here, let's make 2 buttons. On primary. Here, we can say primary. All right, easy enough. Okay. I wonder here, can I console log stuff inside of this props here? I wonder. Or is it very strict about what I can do? Let's see. This is the fun of experimentation here. This is why fun to. All right, cool. And then here, can I just console log dot the props? Sweet. All right. So if you ever have a situation where you don't know what this component is taking, you could literally just you could actually pass it in like JavaScript. Interesting. All right. So I'm going to keep both ways just so it's a little bit more clear on how this works. All right. Cool. Vert soon? What's vert? All right, time to move on. So that was adapting based on props. Cool. All right, extending styles. Let's see. Quite frequently, you might want to use a component, but change it slightly for a single case. Now, you could pass in an interpolated function and change them based on some props, but that's quite a lot of effort for overriding the styles once. To easily make a new component that inherits the styling of another, just wrap it in a style constructor. Here we use the button from the last section, create a special one extending it. Interesting. You know, I would have to say developers are probably the worst people at naming stuff. So one thing I don't like about style components, I could tell right now, is I don't know how to come up with names. It's just like way too hard. All right. So here, let's just, we're saying const tomato button equals styled of the button. Now we have, it looks like the style of everything that's here, but say we just want to override maybe Color is tomato. Man, I didn't even know these colors existed. All right, border color. I even have a border color on this one. Maybe the border color here is supposed to be palette violet red. And here, I think I do. Why do I need this? Oh, I don't even know why they gave me border here. Border color 2 pixels solid. I see. It's because we already have a border that's 2 pixels. So now they just want to change the border. I get it. All right, tomato. Now we could render the button here. Tomato. Cool. How much can we distract it? Love your videos, man. Thank you. It's I much appreciate it, sir. I'm glad you found my channel. If you have any questions related to software development or breaking into tech, please let me know. I don't like style components unless I need something scoped to a component. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out there are some. I'm noticing there are some benefits, but personally I really like using motion better. It's very similar to in terms of like CSS and JS, but the way they handle the padding and all of that stuff, it's a little bit more. It feels more like inline CSS, but this way I don't have to worry about naming. I just know that the component is going to work. But today is all about style components, and yeah. I know this guy. He should be working right now. He's got to make that back, but he's helping out little Billy here right now. Favorite stack right now? I don't really have one. Maybe front end React with Sass generally would be what I prefer. But if it was a CSS and JS, then Emotion. Backend, I'm not that great at backend development, so I don't really have a huge preference, but either Node or Rails would be my choice. That's just because I'm most familiar with those two, but there's nothing special about those two frameworks that are saying that you have to use this one. So yeah. What would be funny is if I'm trying to code and then I have DGNT on at the same time, just keep talking to me while I'm trying to learn. That would be funny. All right. We can see that the tomato button still resembles button while we only added 2 new rules. Oh yeah. In some cases, you might want to change which tag. You might want to change which tag or component a style component renders. This is common when building a navigation bar, for example, where there are a mix of anchors and buttons, but it should be styled identically. So I actually have a video idea, and let me know what you guys think about this. It's the title I'm still trying to figure out, but it's something along the lines of, let's see. Maybe I'll just take a screenshot. Does it really matter? I guess not. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So here we see all these top languages to learn. Top 3 programming languages, top 5 programming languages, top 10 programming languages, top programming languages, top 5 programming the best languages to learn in 2020. The top 10 languages, top 5. What programming language should I learn? Top 3. Top five. Top five. It's so many of these videos are ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about making another video called like why I hate why I hate like top five coding languages you should learn type videos, because it's not like they stack together. You know what I mean? Like learning this language will not necessarily make it beneficial for you to learn the other language. Like if you're trying to learn how to play basketball, you wouldn't be saying, oh, you in general you'll be like, okay, first you have to know how to dribble and then you need to know how to shoot. So that list makes more sense because they're all related to each other. But why would I want to learn C++ and then learn PHP and then what the heck is this? What is this? Elm? And then Haskell at the same time. Like all of these coding languages, it's just they don't stack. What you have to do if you're a new developer is you have to stick with one and at most two languages and get really, really good at it. Find a job and afterwards learn whatever the heck you want. You know, it doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to learn all of these languages. So the way it's structured, or these top languages are structured in these videos, it's like it feels like you have to learn this whole list before you can become a software developer. So that's my rant about top languages. It's I don't know. That's me. But yeah, to your point, yeah, whatever makes the job done. I like the mindset. That is completely true. And since I'm most familiar with JavaScript, when I do backend stuff, I generally stick with that. That's my usual go-to. But yeah, top five. Maybe I should make like a top 100 languages you should learn. Just as a, maybe they annoy you because there's so many logos. There's just so many logos. Five, 3, 10, 100. I don't know. Anyways, back to style components. Let's see. What else do we need to know? All right. For the situation, in some cases, you might want to change which tag or component style components render. This is common when building a navigation bar, for example, where there are a mix of anchor, links, and buttons, but they should be styled identically. For this situation, we have an escape hatch. You can use the as polymorphic prop to dynamically swap out the element that receives the style you. I have no idea what that means, but all right, let's figure this out. So button, normal button as a href link with button. So it's a link with button styles, okay? And then link tomato as in a. Interesting. So you could use this as. Why don't you saying? I'm gonna get demonetized. Link as a or link as div. I assume that is what you can do. Top 5 and goes for you should like. I think just to like start trolling, you got to come up with like these random unpopular numbers, like top 6 coding languages you should learn, or top 13 coding languages you should learn, so you can beat the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, they are clickbaity, but you know what? That's just part of the game. You kind of have to. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so here we already got the styles. Is it as easy as just adding a button with a link? So here, button. All right, this is a link. All right, and then here we'll just say as an anchor tag, and then href equals nothing here. How did they get the styles though? Why is mine a underline here? What did you guys do here then? Button. What the heck? This should work. Why is mine underline not working? Oh, why is mine showing an underline here? Did they add more styles that I'm not aware of? Font size, margin, border, 2 pixels, border radius. What? All right, let's see. How do they do this? Yeah, no, the styles are the same. This is so weird. What the heck? Top pi language is the same. Yes, I don't get it. No, I do get it. You could make a video breaking down the niches inside program. A lot of people have a sense of programming as just one thing. You could add your opinion at the end. I don't know, job market, right? Not niches inside of programming. Wait, what do you mean by that? Are you talking about like front end development, back end development, DevOps, and those kinds of niches? Why is this not working? The war cry of every. I know, right? I copied and pasted, and it's not working. Pourquoi? Why? All right, let's inspect this element. It is an A tag. Definitely is an A tag. Why you? Huh. Remove underline on tag. Let's see. What's the way to remove anchor tag underlines on CSS? Totally forgot. Mind is blanking. Don't know why. Nope, that's not it. All right. So I don't know why it's not working, but it's getting the general styles, which is fine. Just a little irritating that it's, you know what? How about we just copy this? Because obviously there's something different in here that I don't have correctly. It's even worse. Oh, I guess not. I mean, I guess it has something in there. What did I add that's different? Display block? I shouldn't. I mean, that just puts it like that. Oh, I guess it is a little bit of bigger button. Is it just when you make it bigger like this? Yeah. All right. So maybe it is something with that specific style, but it doesn't really resolve the underlining issue. What the heck? Yeah. There's something here that's not working. Maybe they have some global style that's causing the underline to disappear. But general gist is that you can extend it and that works. Cool. All right, sweet. And you could add programming languages based on niche, DevOps, Python, Web Dev, JS, mobile, Kotlin, Java, Dart, desktop, C Sharp, etc., etc. Hey, maybe you should start a YouTube channel, man. The thing is, I only talk about stuff that I know about. So like I'm not as familiar with Kotlin and I'm not as familiar with Dart. And I'm a front end developer, and I'm not trying to say I don't know anything else, but I want to give information that's accurate and not necessarily just make a video for the sake of making a video, if that makes sense. But that would be pretty cool, I think. But I would probably have to ask for other people's advice about what is the industry standard. I'm sure I could just Google it, but um, I never want to share wrong information. So that's one. Also, I have another video idea. Let me know if what you guys think about this one. Let's see. I have them all written down on my phone. That's generally how I think about things. Let's see. Why it's hard to get a why it is hard to get a job, and then in parentheses software engineer. That one's a little clickbaity potentially. And another one is I don't know if you guys watch those like fake guru stuff, but there's this guy named James Janney who does like he actually posted a recent video about about the dark world of new age gurus, and it's talking about what does it talk about? It talks about the law of attraction. And then I wanted to be like, does law of attraction help you become a software engineer? And basically it's like, if I just imagine being a software engineer, if I'm positive about being a software engineer, I will be a software engineer. It's like, no, that actually doesn't work. You need to actually put in the work, do the actual content, build a portfolio. There are actual actionable items that you can do to become a software engineer. But the way the the law of attraction works is you just got to believe it, and then you'll achieve it. As you said, it's part of the game. I thought YouTubers make those type. That is true. That is true. And yeah, maybe that's why my YouTube channel isn't that big. At the end of the day, they're doing things. A lot of YouTubers are, they're putting in the work. You can't deny that. But the thumbnail, the title, everything is very important. So, um, dude has a great interview with Rob from Fox Webs. Oh, really? I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll keep that in mind. I'll take a look at that. How to use the power of positive thinking to be a yeah, exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there's a part of knowing that you want to be a software engineer that puts things into perspective and makes you want to do things. But I don't think just thinking about being a software engineer will make you a software engineer. You have to actually put in the work. But the way that this dark world of new age guru videos talking about it, a lot of these people, like, when they fail, it's like, oh, it's because you didn't believe hard enough, or you didn't work hard enough to become your own boss of your MLM. So it's kind of funny. I'm trying to find that connection between software engineering and positive idea, positive thinking. Maybe that's maybe I should use that too. So definitely we'll do that one. What up, Kelvin? Yeah, sorry, we got distracted with the law of attraction and how you can use it to become a software engineer, which I don't believe. But and then it's because I saw this video recently about the dark world of new age gurus by James Janney. But yes, back to what we were originally going to be doing, which is styling the button. All right. This works perfectly fine with custom components. All right, so let's see how this works. Let's see. Reverse button is a button that takes in the props and children's dot reverse. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Children. Okay, so you could create a component called reverse button that takes in props, which returns a button, and then children. Oh, interesting. I didn't know. So a styled button component or a styled component can take in a children prop that you could do whatever you want inside of that children. That's pretty cool. All right, that's good to know. Let's see how this works. So const reversed button equals props here, and then let's just return a button component. Actually, do we even need that? Because it's just returning the button component here. That's already defined. And then here we'll just pass in the props. This string is super small. I apologize, guys. Let's do it that way. We'll pass in the props. And let's just see what happens here. I don't think anything's actually it's actually gonna do anything here. Oh, when you pass in as a reverse button, it'll pass in the props of the children. All right, this is interesting. Okay, so here let's just do children equals props.children split, which will convert it into an array dot reverse. Okay. All right. And then here, let's just do button. Button as first button. And then put in some custom button. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize I had that up. That's called. Yeah, I mean that's true. I think you need to have a positive mindset and you need to have a North Star. You need to know why you want to become a software engineer. I completely agree with that. But something, I don't know, something feels fishy when the mindset is the only thing that's kind of pushing you to become a software engineer. You have to actually do the work. How do you float that screenshot? Yeah, so it's actually a app that I use called Screen Float. And basically you could take a screenshot and then you could just keep it up there. But it is paid. I'm all for supporting developers that build useful tools. So I think it was like $5, which I thought was totally worth it. But I've been using it for many years. No, it's not StreamYard Magic. It's literally a paid app that I've been using, StreamFloat. It's highly recommend. I've been using it since I started coding, so like 20. I've been using it for like almost six years, and I've never had to buy a license for it after the first initial purchase. So definitely would recommend. Definitely would recommend. I'm not a huge fan of this. Like, why can't I just create a reverse button component and just call reverse button here, and then just do the same thing that a button would do and just split it? Hey, no problem. Like, I don't know. This is interesting. Like, I don't know if because I'm already importing the button here, which will get me the styles. So let's read this again. This works perfectly fine with custom components. Yeah, this is, I mean, I get it, but I don't get why this use case is good for it. Like, I'd rather just create a component that's a reverse button component, and yes, render the button here, and not have to do this. Whatever. All right, guys, break time. We're at styling any components. Do you have any questions? Any questions for me? Let's see. We'll do like this half screen where my face is bigger. If we have no questions, then I'm going to keep coding. But I could use a break. I could use some questions. It's a kind of a nice quiet stream. So you know what? If you guys want to get on the live stream and ask your question, send me a message on Discord and I'll send you the link. How's my new job going? New job is good. New job is really good. I'm trying to just figure out everything and learning a new code base, learning a new new ways they handle all the deployments and everything in that fashion has been quite a bit of a learning curve, but a lot of training, a lot of long nights of just reading code, just making sure I could contribute as fast as I can. But all good things take time, so that's why I've been it's been a little bit slow in my opinion, but at the same time feels fast at moments. So I love my team's really awesome, a lot of great people, and very easy to get along with. So super stoked about that. But yeah, I really like Amazon. Amazon's really nice. But thank you for asking, Helvin. Like, what are you up to these days? If you don't mind me asking. But yeah, also ScreenFloat has been one of those things that every time someone sees it on my computer, they're just like, "Yo, what is that? Tell me what that is." It's really nice too, because if you're ever doing a GitHub pull request, you could take a screenshot of whatever feature you were building and then literally paste it onto your pull request. Super, super clutch. Joined the stream very late, but would like if you can make a summary of style components and what are the most common use cases. Yeah, I mean, I don't think style components is special in any way in a sense of CSS and JS. Like if we look at style components here, they give you like the motivation of why it's nice to have. And I think for me, my opinion, the biggest appeal of style components, but more along the lines of CSS and JS, is that it creates unique class names for your styles. You never have to worry about duplication, overlap, or misspelling. So if we're looking at this code here, you can see right away, like, I don't know if you guys can see this. There's like zoom in a lot here just for the sake. But these class names here, SC, DLF, and BM, none of these class names are like generated by me by hand. It's all done through CSS and JavaScript. And I mean, it's done through style components, which is essentially another library of CSS and JS. And these are dynamically generated. So it's not, wait, I might be lying here, but basically, I assume that if I refresh the app and I inspect this element again, yeah, it's like a totally different class name here. SC, DLF, and B, and whatnot. So this is really cool because it guarantees uniqueness in your class name where you don't have to have overriding styles. So that's my major appeal of it. And then yes, easier deletion of CSS. So if you've been working in some like really, really large scale application, like tech debt is real. And being able to identify which CSS files you can delete and which you can't delete becomes a very daunting task because you don't want to delete a CSS file that can potentially impact a completely different page. Obviously, that's kind of like bad way to write scalable CSS, but at the same time, you have project deadlines, you have to turn in you have to work in a really, really quick fashion in certain like smaller startups. So tech debt can occur, and it's not just JavaScript tech debt. It could be like CSS tech debt or even backend tech debt. But this easier deletion of CSS is super nice. Yeah, painless maintenance, and then this was not as crazy because you could kind of already handle that in Webpack pretty easily. But styling, simple dynamic styling. So yeah, that's pretty nice. There's no Windows version? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I'm on Mac. Sorry. I'm sure something like that exists on Windows. I just can't imagine it not be. Yo, that's awesome. Actually, I have my what is it called? I have my consensus certificate, and I got it back in 2018. I also wanted to become a blockchain developer at that time, but I don't know. It was maybe it wasn't in the cards. 2018 was that when crypto was booming, or was that when everything fell? I can't remember. But yeah, crypto's doing really well right now. So good industry to get into. You're trying to make like smart contracts and stuff, or uh, what kind of industry? What kind of industry specifically in blockchain? NFTs, DeFi, you name it. All right, where were we? All right, past props, styling any component. Okay. Okay, so we create a component called link. All right. And then we could style it by wrapping it in styled and then passing in the component link. Interesting. And then it should just adopt the styles. Cool. How did this button work? So you could adopt. I'm trying to compare how this usage is a little bit. So I'm going to take this screenshot again. So in this tomato button, we adopted the styles of the button. And then we added our own styles here. But in this case, the link component has no styles. But we create a component called style link that will adopt the style, not the style necessarily, but it looks like we can adopt literally a component and just give it style. So I guess it takes a top level style of on the top element, I assume, on the A tag. I assume here. Well, I don't think we need the class name here, so let's not worry about that here. But who knows? Maybe I'll need it. So let's comment these out because I don't really need to know. All right, cool. So here, I'm just going to create a link, but no class name because I don't really need it. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter here. And then we'll create an A tag. And here we'll just pass in children. And then const styled link equals styled of the link. All right. And then color is the palette violet red, font weight bold. So here, let's see if we could render the link, which is, oh, okay. There's a children here, so we have to say no styles. Okay. And then styled link, styled styles. Link, styled. That is not working. Let's see. Styled link equals that. Why? Do I have to save? Let's see. Sorry about that. Why isn't this working? Someone help me. Someone help me. Why isn't this working? Color is red. Link. Unterminated. Okay, so I have some issues with my... Actually, do I have my issues? What is going on here? Let's see. I mean, I don't know why adding a class name will make a difference here. It shouldn't. Styled link color palette violet red. Save link style link. What the heck? All right, I need a break. So let's see. Yeah, it's a very broad field, but at the moment I'm getting to smart contract with Solidity and React Node. Yeah, I mean I really liked it too when I was working on it. It's very at the time when I did it, I consider it very early, but I wonder what it's like in 2021. As any advice? I feel like I'm stuck in it's been my first industry and I haven't learned too much. Most of the work I do. It's on WordPress. There ain't no web development. I mean, I learn a lot of how the industry, and I find out I could keep making that type of my own, but I want to have some experience before having my own. I found I could keep making that type of job by my own, but I want to have some more experience. Well, I think you just need to start applying. At the end of the day, if you are applying to jobs, and you could kind of bolster what you've done so far. I mean, regardless of WordPress or not, you've done some form of development, and as long as you can kind of pitch yourself really about why you should get hired, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But have you been interviewing, or do you just feel like you just aren't ready to interview? I'll be curious about that. While you think about that, though, and I realized I wasn't even showing my face, but here you go. While you think about that, I'm going to try to figure out why this isn't working. Let's see. All right. I'm going to add a class name here, but I don't know what it's going to be doing. Why does adding a class name give it styles? I don't. What is going on? What's happening under the hood here? They don't explain this at all. Why do I need to add class names? Let's see. Inspect. No styles. Okay, well, that would have been helpful for them to kind of explain that in the documentation of you need to, you could style your component, but you have to pass in the class name. This is kind of wonky because what if I directly pass in a class name here? Wow. Okay, so it just appends it at the end. Okay, that's cool. That, excuse me, is good to know. Let's see. Once you have experience, that's all you need. Create a portfolio and add projects and keep applying to higher level position. I was stuck on WordPress for a while, but you just have to level up and apply. Would you say that learning, because I'm not too familiar with WordPress, Kelvin, would you say that learning WordPress, even though it may not be like a one-to-one translation, you felt confident enough to start creating your own portfolio and start applying for those higher level positions? Yeah, I'll be curious about that. Okay, let's see what's next. Past props. Cool. Ugh, why am I so tired today? So actually, before I go into this, past props, I just want to review everything I learned a little bit. All right, we're gonna lower. How do I lower? How do I make this bigger? So learned about style.section with the wrapper. You could style a button, and then you could take another component style and style it over a original one. You could take a reverse button and then use an as. You could you could create a style on a link or a component by passing in a class name to it, and then the style will wrap over the component here and then give it some styles. Okay, so far so good. I have some opinions about certain things, but at the end of the day, you are still writing some form of CSS, so I can't complain. All right. Well, with WordPress, everything's built with the web stack. So what I did was I learned how everything was built. I learned how to make plugins and themes, and that is boom. Boom, boom, boom. That makes sense. All right. Okay, so I had a couple of interviews recently. Danny Todd has helped me with his LinkedIn vids. They're pretty good, but is that self-doubt that's killing me? Imposter syndrome. Yes. Yes. It's, you know what? You just gotta do it, Ignacio. Interview failures are totally part of software development journey. So I failed a lot of my coding interviews, and maybe I'm gonna write a video on that, or not write a video, make a video on that about all of my failed interviews and how I dealt with it. But you can only get better from practice, and if you don't actually go on those interviews, or if you're not like going out of your way to apply, then you're gonna be stuck. And kind of like maybe some rough or tough advice is like you have no one else to blame but yourself if you're not kind of reaching for those goals. And to be honest, like I personally maybe have stayed at my old company for too long too because I was getting comfortable. So I highly encourage you to always push yourself and take breaks when necessary, but it's also good to always try to be a little bit better each and every day. How did you do the hover events and stuff? Did you get to that part yet? No, I haven't, but it looks like Kelvin is a boss and he just says I could do an and hover style. Let's see. No, I don't want that. I want this one here. Yeah, I assume. Let's see. Let's take his advice and hover background. Blue. It's gonna be the ugliest color ever, but whatever. Yeah, it works. Hey, Kelvin, you're a genius. Look at this guy. He should be the one teaching style components. The only way to yes, exactly. The only way to overcome is to try. It's such a simple advice, but it's so true. Yeah, even during my interview process, like obviously you guys know I got what company I got into, but yeah, there's this other aspect of all these other companies that said no, and yeah, it hurts to get rejected. And maybe Kelvin kind of knows this a little bit more too. Is that sometimes interviewing for experienced developers is pretty hard because the wiggle room or the room for error is so small. Sometimes they just really are very picky, depending on the type of company that you're interviewing for. So at times I just felt like I had to be perfect, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is, you know. The software development or software engineering interviews are tough. That's just the reality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm probably going to make a video about just all my interview failures and what I learned from it. I think one of the things that I would highly recommend if the interviewer or if the HR person allows it is if you do fail an interview, get feedback. Ask them what I could have done better. Where was I lacking? Um, was it my story? Was it my technical skills? If they're able to give you that kind of feedback, it's just ammo for you to be better next time. So I really believe in that saying that iron sharpens iron. So you got to like take what you can get and then just be ready for the next time you are able to interview. No, dude, this is good. It's like CSS but in JavaScript. So there are times where I'm just kind of doing my own thing. I don't try to always follow the documentation one to one, but at the same time, that's probably my own fault. But yeah, this class name thing is so weird. I don't know why you have to pass in a class name, but it kind of makes sense because you need to figure out how to take the components, return elements, but still be able to style it in a unique way. So yeah, that's true. But if none of us made errors, we would be robots and not humans. So I think errors are part of the game. It's just more about I think the experience is just how you can solve the problem without necessarily like freaking out or taking time to think about the problem. Those are what kind of separates the experienced developer from a junior developer. Is there were times where I was on an interview and I've never seen that problem before, but you just ask the right questions and figure out what they really want, and then you just solve it. So uh, I made a video about this a while back where it's like I don't really memorize code. Yeah, I memorize like function utilities like map, filter, reduce, and all of those other functions, but I don't necessarily try to like memorize code in a way it's like you have to do it this way. It's there's so many ways to like cut the pie or cut the pizza, whatever you want to call it, but as long as you know you have your own specific way, and yeah, it might differ from someone else's, but that's when you start having conversations and figuring out like what's the most optimal solution. So there isn't as much room for error. I do agree, but I wish there was a little bit. I wish there was just a little bit more room for error at times, because it is really hard to get a job. Like a lot of people are trying to hire software engineers, but when that interview process does come, it's like, oh well, like you didn't solve this one problem. Let's see. All right, so we did the styling any component. The one thing I don't like about this is that if you abstract, and I'm sorry, you guys probably can't see this. All right. One thing I don't like about this is that if you abstract this away, how will I know that the styled link is a wrapper around the link component? Unless I'm only using it in this instance, then I would know because it's part of the same file. But, maybe it's not as heavily used. I don't know. We'll see. But, all right, next one. Pass props. If the style target is a simple element, style.div, style components passes through any known HTML attribute. Okay, cool. If it's a custom React component styled of my component, which is here, style component passes through all the props. Sorry, I keep moving back and forth. This example shows how all the props of an input component are passed on the DOM node that is mounted as well as with React components. If the style target is simple element, style will pass. Okay. If it's a custom component, style component pass through all the props. Styled component passes through all the props. Okay, so is it saying it receives all the props? Render a style text input with a standard input color and one with a custom input color. Props. Yeah, I mean that isn't that didn't we already do this? Default value is glean. Probably yep. Style.input. Oh, okay. So I see. So as long as you know that it's an input, you could pass in the default values and the type here. And then you could pass in the input color. Okay, cool. Cool. Do you find those ID generated class names on your elements hard to debug when Chrome debugger or not really? I haven't used it enough to know, but I get your point because I think before on my last app, it was a lot easier to find those components because I had very distinct class names for it. But what you can probably do is you can use your React tool extension to figure out what component it is that way. It's not the most ideal way to do it, I do admit, but it's not the worst either. I'm sure there's a good way to do it. I just not too familiar. A lot of algorithm. No, I'm a front end developer, but I mean, I think algorithms are just part of the game in the interview process. I like to dynamically toggle classes when using the Chrome dev tools to figure out which issues, but maybe, yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not too familiar. I'm not too familiar with CSS and JS in terms of like full on debugging, but this is why I'm learning, and maybe there is a better way to do it. I think the component with the React inspector tools is the way to go here, though. So that way, well, obviously, I think these might be not as nice because of the way it probably bundled up. But ideally, if you're in like a dev environment, you should be able to like find these component names that way. Maybe Kelvin has a better idea, but at the moment, I can't think of it off the top of my head unless you're just looking for like that specific style, like background equals papaya whip. But that's probably not a great way to do it. I get what you're talking about. This could be an issue, but I have to look into it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll figure it out. What's WDJ, if you don't mind me asking? I have to Google this. Or pronounced double, we don't judge. I don't think that's what you meant. What is WDJ account? All right, this one seems pretty straightforward. Do I want to do this one? I think for you guys watching, it's kind of obvious what's happening here, but in case it's not, I will yeah, maybe I just let me have some fun. Let me figure this out myself because I'm a weirdo and I like doing things and figuring it out. All right, cool. So here we'll do what? I guess we'll just call it an input. So const input equals styled dot, what is it? Styled dot input. Oh yeah, input. And here we'll say it won't be a default value, but what was the parameter? Color? What was it? Yeah, color. So color will be props and props dot color value. Let's just call it whatever we want. And then here we'll just say props dot color value. Otherwise, we just do an empty string. Well, I'm not going to do all the other stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Fine. We'll just do padding 2M. And here, let's just do input. Here. We'll just do margin right 1M. Cool. And then here we'll say, sorry guys, this is so small. Is that better? All right, that's better. All right, and here I'll just say default value equals, I don't know, red. Default value equals blue. Okay, and then we could just pass in a prop called color value. So if I pass in a color value of red, cool. So it looks like it works. Not quite as pretty as the one that's in the example, but that's the point because I don't want to write pointless CSS. Now, I meant to say note how the input color prop is not passed to the DOM, but type and default value are. This is style components being smart enough to filter non-standard attributes automatically for you. Okay. Oh shoot, you're with that junkie. Boom! I'm like mind blown. I got a celebrity in the house. To be honest, I completely forgot about the CLS in Chrome, and you just reminded me. I have to start using it for debugging. But I can see the problems. Yeah, it's a curious problem. I'll have to look into it. What, really? Is that a banned word? Maybe I have. Oh, I might have some like weird filtering of some sort. I have to follow you, bro. Is your YouTube channel that orange background with you pointing to the name? Let's see. What is Web Dev Junkies? I think it's this one, right? The man, the myth, the legend. Look at him right here. Web Dev Junkie, Web Dev Tutorials. Dude, he's blowing me away with these stats. It's kind of it's very humbling to just get destroyed in terms of views. Look at that. Oh man. Awesome. Good stuff, sir. Yes, this is a great topic. Why you need to understand re-rendering in React and use state hook. Actually, I might listen to this one. I'd be curious what you think about this, Cody. Hey, the man, the myth, the legend is here. Danny Thompson. Whoop. DGNT, I thought you left because you were just so quiet for a while. So much love for Danny. It's awesome. Danny, I need to get you on the show on my sharing developer stories. We gotta definitely schedule something in, and maybe I could be on one of yours too if you ever want to do an interview. What were we talking about again about Danny? I'm sure it's good things. I'm sure it's good things. Why I'm the best programmer? I'm definitely not the best programmer. There are a lot of great ones in the community here. Like I will never participate in that CSS battle wars or whatever that some of these developers are doing. They're so good. It's crazy. I think one of my biggest CSS weaknesses is probably animations. So if anything revolves around animations, I'm probably going to be wrecked. Let's see. Cool. Oh yeah. That's right. The LinkedIn videos. That yeah, exactly. I remember now. Hey, what's up, Hamza? Nice for you to join the stream. Where are we at? Let's see. Yep, we finished that. Oh, this might be for me. Coming from CSS, how do style components work with the component? If you're familiar with importing CSS like CSS modules, we'll be doing something like this. Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh, look how pretty this is. Like styles.counter, styles.paragraph, styles.button. Like, look, you don't even have to name things. You just do it once and you're done. But it's okay. Because style components is the combination of the element and the rules that style it, we like to write counter like this. Okay. Note that we added a style prefix to style counter. So that the React component counter and the style component style counter don't clash names but remain easily identifiable. So I guess adding a styled word in front of it will give it some kind of prefix to make it a little bit easier to decipher, but full-time trolling, let's go. Yo, that's so true. I mean, Danny has been helping out the community without really asking for anything in return. So, man, Danny, you're doing such an awesome thing, and I really want to get at your level in terms of just helping out as many people as I can into breaking into tech. And that's kind of why I actually started the Sharing Developers series story. Is I love to interview a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I love interviewing guys like you and a lot of the bigger YouTubers out there. I'm sure that'll just give me a lot more eyes on my channel, but at the same time, I do love sharing stories about individuals who feel like they don't have a story to share. And there are a lot of smart developers out there, and there are a lot of people that just don't have that same online presence as we do. And funny enough, once you start asking a bunch of questions, they love answering. They love talking about themselves, and I think it's just a good story to just see non, like social media developers talking about code, because they definitely bring in a different perspective. What will you look in junior developer if you're hiring? Yeah, that's a good question. If I was looking for a junior developer, I think the first thing I want to emphasize is that you're not coming in to save the company. Like, don't feel like if you hire me, then this is the best decision you're gonna make because I'll save you two, three, $10 million. That's not the mentality that I want when I see when I interview a junior developer, and that shouldn't be your mentality as well. You should come in with excitement. You should come in with the passion to learn and contribute to a team. So technically, I obviously, I want to know that you can code at a very basic or intermediary level, but I like to look at just like the attitude, the eagerness to learn. Did you research about the company that you're interviewing for? Do you ask the right questions? Like, how do you guys get things done? Have that genuine curiosity for that company will help in such ways that like so many people think about just the tech and just the technical interviews, but a big there's a big importance on also making sure that you have all the other things down, like knowing what the company does, how the company functions, how many members of the team there are. I would even highly suggest going on LinkedIn and looking up who is on that team and what are their interests, and like ask them questions when at the end when they're like, oh, do you have any more questions? You could just be like, oh yeah, like I noticed that you built this app, this weather app a few years ago. I had built something very similar. How were you able to structure your backend API? And they'll be like, oh wow, like I can't believe you know about that app. And and then you kind of could start these like really fun conversations. So do your research, and I think there's a lot of things that you can do for a junior developer position outside of just like pure technical preparation. Later, Danny. It was good seeing you. I enjoyed watching that last. Yeah, she's awesome. Like she's so cool, and I'm really glad I met her. I actually met her through this app called Clubhouse. It's like this new social network application that's only through voice. And she actually hosts a bunch of rooms called Breaking into Tech with a non traditional background. And it's super awesome to see how many people are wanting to break into the tech space. And there's also this aspect of there's a lot of recruiters in these clubhouse rooms, and I'm just like taking notes, not because for myself, but I want to take notes to help junior developers break into the space. So a lot of times when I do go up in those rooms and ask questions, it's coming from a junior developer perspective, and I want to know like or how do recruiters feel about junior developers? How do recruiters feel about junior developers messaging them on LinkedIn? And she was a very helpful resource, so I really like talking to her. Yes, Ignacio, this is why you need a YouTube channel, because you could summarize everything I say in 10 minutes in like literally what, one, two, three, four, five words. Great. Or maybe you shouldn't have a YouTube channel because you probably can't, your videos will probably be like only like 2 minutes long. All right, let's see. Oh, Web Dev Junkie just came out of nowhere. No, I'm kidding. Let's close this one. Let's close this one. All right. Define style components outside of the render method. It's important to define your style components outside of your render method, otherwise they'll be recreated every single render pass. Hey, this is kind of similar to what Web Dev Junkie's video is about the re-rendering and the use effect. Not necessarily similar, but it's just good to think about these things. Defining a style component within the render method will thwart caching and drastically slow down rendering speeds and should be avoided. Yeah, that makes sense because basically here, oh my God, you can't see anything. Let's see. Yeah, because every time you put stuff inside of the component, there's no caching aspect of it here. But when this component or this file that represents this wrapper loads, this will happen on the initial, and that's it. You don't need to, it never needs to redefine itself again. But once it's inside here, this is going to be redefining the styled wrapper information and whatever const variables you have inside. So personally, I really like to keep a lot of my stuff outside of my component that doesn't require functions that are very scoped to this component. But I want to see that WebDev Junkie video too and see what his thoughts are. Got a dip too. Hey, Kelvin, it was good hanging out. And maybe in the future streams, I could have you on and just ask you a bunch of questions and see what you're up to these days. But definitely glad that you're on, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah, TikTok. TikTok for coders. I think that's still a pretty untapped market. I don't know. I just feel like it's really hard to make good TikTok videos. I don't know why. Yeah, great advice, Kelvin, and I'll see you later. All right, where are we at? Where style past props coming from? All right, we're almost done because I actually don't want to get to the advanced level, just because I'm lazy, and then maybe I'll save that for another stream, and then after that, I could just talk to you about whatever. Oh, pseudo elements. Where is that coming from? Attaching additional props. Attaching additional props. Am I skipping something? Okay, pseudo. All right. The preprocessor we use, Stylus, supports SAS-like syntax for automatically nesting styles. The ampersand can be used to refer back to the main component. Here are some examples of it with the potential usage. My video doesn't really touch on anything advanced. A subscriber didn't understand that you can't modify an array and call set state array and expect React to run. Hey, either way, it's a good video. I think these little like hints are really useful, especially with React hooks. I really like it, but I'm trying to really understand what are these like best practices around it, because at my old job we were still kind of stuck with the class-based components, and I was doing a lot of side projects using React hooks. And one thing I did like about class-based components was the structure was pretty similar amongst a lot of different applications. But now with React hooks, you can make custom hooks. You could do a lot of things with use effect and whatnot, and it just doesn't seem like there's like a very good consensus on, oh, this is a good pattern to have, or this is a good thing to implement. Like even React.use memo, or like use, like, do you need to really use it? It's like up to you to decide if you need it or not. And I think that's kind of difficult for new developers, because obviously they would like to know what are best practices. But either way, I think it's good to to investigate this, because hooks are still somewhat new. And no comment. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking. Like, I completely agree. I'm like, man, do I know React, or am I just? I think React has been leaning towards just making it very JavaScripty, if that makes sense, and just everything is a function. But in some ways, I feel like it's lost its structure and I thought that's what class-based components did very well, is like somewhat of an organization. But I can see why people have kind of moved towards like functional hooks. It's just crazy how it's just crazy how a few years class-based components was like the biggest thing in the world, and now we're moving back to functional components. It's so funny. It's just crazy how technology changes so quickly. Maybe this is how like programmers get paid. Like, you build courses on class-based component, and then you make another course on functional components using hooks. And I don't know. It is what it is, but that's the life of a programmer. You always have to stay up to date to whatever is changing. Like before, even this, like style components wasn't even a thing like a couple years back. You just had to know CSS or SAS, and that's it, and maybe less. But even then, actually, one thing I do really miss is I miss Backbone. Backbone was really fun. I don't think this is when's the last yeah, like last development was 15 months ago. Some of these files are like 7 years. Holy moly. I think when I started working in 2015, Backbone was really popular. Later, Ignacio, and thanks for dropping by. I love the questions, and yeah, feel free to join in next time. I think the next time I do the live stream, I'm gonna probably not be coding, and it'll just be more of a Q&A session. So yeah, feel free to come again, and if you want to be a live guest, let me know. Bye-bye. All right, let's finish this out. All right, so let's see. The ampersand can be used to refer. Yep. So style.div.adders tab index of 0 color. So I'm not too like oh. Is my stream dead? Am I good? Are we good? I think we're good. Sorry, guys. I think my Wi-Fi is just scar, which is crazy because we pay a lot for our Wi-Fi, but it might be heavily used. Huh. How is my Wi-Fi unstable? That makes no sense. Anyways, I'm gonna skip this part. It's not that important. All right. I am getting tired, so might not care about the animations part. Yeah, I think my internet is becoming very unstable at the moment. So I might have to end this stream, but I'll probably finish this on my own afterwards. Is it better now? Okay. Oh, that's cool. I guess you could still use last name if you wanted to here. Oh my god, my uh, guys.